Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra and Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM. We're on over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. We're on Swiss FM in Ho, Radio Kpando in Kpando, ATL FM in Cape Coast. We're also on A1 Radio and Dreams FM in Bogatanga. We are live on X Spaces. We're on Facebook. We're on myjoyonline.com. The Midday News is proudly sponsored by Petrol Sol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrol Sol is always a delightful experience. Also brought to you by Duraplus Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDPE pipes and water tank. Where Duraplus goes, water flows. This afternoon, a call for an extension of the limited voter registration exercise from some applicants who are expressing frustrations about network challenges keeping them in queues for days.
Whole lot of challenges. Yesterday, I didn't go to school because of this.
It's slow.
The process is very slow.
I'll take you to some regions for updates on the exercise. Also, EC says perceived political appointment made to the commission has not affected its independence, as they say calls for some commission members to resign must be directed to the presidency.
We are doing our work, and so far we don't think that anybody's presence has undermined the quality, the integrity and the transparency of our processes, and we are working well and everything is going very well for us.
Also this afternoon, personnel of fire service calls fire that gutted a pipeline discharging LPG at the Tema Oil Refinery.
They shouldn't be alarmed at all because the situation has been brought under control, and this is not going to impact on what is supposed to go to the market. It's just the discharge that has ended. But for the loading gantry at all, it's still working and product to go out as usual.
We're live on the ground for more details. Also in the western region, 5 persons have died in a mine pit collapse at the Akum community mining site in Takwa. But the company says safety measures are being enhanced.
And right in front of us, they brought 4 boys who had died, and we thought that would be all. But unfortunately, we heard more people were involved.
I'll take you to the Akun community shortly. Also, proposed criminal offences amendment bill seeks 12 to 25-year jail term for private individuals offering bribes, yet faces delay in Attorney General's office 3 years after its formulation.
I respect Godfrey Yeboah Dame for bringing this up, but for about 3 years now, 2021, up to now, total silence on what is happening with the bill.
Do we know why?
I don't know.
We also get to hear the commissioner's verdict on President Akufo-Addo's fight against corruption. We have sports.
Former GFA presidential aspirant urges disqualified George Afriyie to abandon his presidential ambition.
And ahead of the September 30 World Cleanup Day, the Water and Sanitation Ministry is leading the cleaning of this country.
Change the way you dump in gutters. Change the way you defecate along our beaches. Chale, let's make Ghana clean.
That's coming up in our Clean Ghana campaign. That and more here on the Midday News. I am Emefa Apawu. This is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Please do stay on for details. Many thanks for choosing us. In our very first story for this afternoon, frustration is mounting among some applicants in the limited voter registration exercise, with some calling for an extension of the deadline. The process, according to them, has been bedeviled by network challenges, equipment breakdowns, and lengthy queues. As participants strive to exercise their democratic right to register as voters, they are forced to sacrifice valuable productive hours. Getting an update from some regions, let's first take you to Pru East, where Nana Ujima reports that many of those seeking to register have been queuing for days.
Many continue to troop to the EC's office at Yeji to get registered in the limited voter registration exercise. Though the exercise started September 12, the number of applicants continues to increase at the center. Here are some applicants who have spent days in the line.
For instance, yesterday that I came here in the morning, but when I came, there was a whole lot of challenges that even I myself, I couldn't stand it. And I was also sick. As I'm talking, I'm a student. Yesterday, I didn't go to school because of this. But yesterday, I wasn't able to make it. And today, too, same thing. I didn't go to.
It's slow.
The process is very slow. Poor internet connectivity is also affecting the process. The queue doesn't move as expected.
I don't know contempt.
Registration officials have alluded to poor internet connectivity as the reason for the slow pace of work. An option of offline registration is being avoided for fear of double registration. The Buem constituency has many traveling over the Volta Lake for the exercise. Despite the risk involved, it cost at least 150 cedis to make the journey to the district capital. Yet some have traveled more than twice. Parliamentary aspirant of the National Democratic Congress, Emmanuel Kwekubuam, speaks about the cost implication on the party.
Today we went to a few communities to bring them to the center. If they don't get registered, we'll have to take them back and go for them tomorrow. So the same registrant, we are spending so much to transport them from their own homes and comfort to this place, and you have to feed them.
Meanwhile, Emmanuel Buam has added his voice to calls for extension of the registration period.
Trust me, it is not about the number of days. It is about the number of registrants we can get per specific day. So for instance, if today we are registering 300, we know that the run rate is that every day we can do 300. But if today we are doing, for instance, we did 40 the first day, and then when we switch off, we switch to the offline mode, we did 216. And today, as of the time the network went off, even with the 3 teams, we did 111.
From the Bono East region, where my colleague Nanaya Ojima is reporting, let me take you to the Upper East region. We know that registration in Boko was suspended after the second day when a misunderstanding broke over the location of the registration center. Regional correspondent Albert joins us on the line with what we are picking up on the Boko situation. Albert, what has changed?
Yes, so the situation is that up to now, voters in Boko have not been able to do the registration because of the fact that that misunderstanding occurred after the second day of registration. As it is now, we do not know when they will be given the opportunity. The reason is that one center which was added to the already existing registration center, one of the parties did not agree because of the fact that that center was included to enable people who didn't feel safe going to other places to register there. The EC, together with the police, met with the parties and an agreement was made for that registration to continue. They had needed to put that into a signed agreement, but one of the parties has not yet signed the paper. And because of that, the situation has remained the same, and voters in Boko have not been registered since after the second day. And that is the situation at the moment.
Okay, so that's my colleague Albert there giving us updates on the Boko situation. We'll be finding out from the Electoral Commission on this Boko situation as well. But let me take you to the northern region now. And joining us is learning that some centers earlier experienced network challenges delaying the process. Here are some participants and observers.
We come here to do voter ID card, and the way they are doing it, it is not good. Some people are there, if they come, they will just bring their children direct, and they will do it and go on. Some of us, this is our 3 days, 4 days, and we have no idea. It's today that we are getting closer.
We are 2 constituencies combined, Tamale North and then Sanel constituency. And when you look at the numbers, it keeps increasing every day. And that tells us that it means that more people are yet to come, but the machines cannot take care of them. The machines are only 3. And it's even through our agitation that the machines have to be added. And so we are only appealing to the EC boss to add us some machines so that they can fast track the process.
Apart from the first day, the exercise has been going on smoothly. Today we had some challenges concerning the minors, and afterwards the exercise has been going on smoothly.
Let me take you now to the Volta region where my colleague Ivy Setoji has an update on the process. But first, let me bring in Deputy Commissioner of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Bosman Asari, joining us. We are grateful for your time here on the Midday News, sir. So we've been looking at the situation across the country. Well, there are calls for extension of the deadline, for instance, due to network challenges, amongst others. Is that an option that the EC is considering?
Currently, good afternoon to you and good afternoon to your listeners. Currently, that's not an option the EC is considering because, as we indicated yesterday and some few days ago, the Electoral Commission made it very clear that we're going to increase the number of equipment in a number of our offices. And we did that, and we've been able to contain the numbers. So as we speak now, we are on track to register all those who are available by the deadline of 2nd October.
Now, the key thing also is about the registration in Boko. It was suspended after the second day. Well, we'll talk about the other issues though, but really, what's the situation when it comes to Boko? Because it looks like they are not participating in this exercise.
Yeah, the Boko issue, as you rightly pointed out, it came up very, very strongly. The commission did its very best to be able to bring the two parties, the two main political parties and the others together to be able to ensure a very smooth registration exercise. Our regional director, our district officer in Boko, all of them did their very best. And as we speak now, we haven't gotten the green light or the permission from them to indicate that the two parties and the other parties have agreed. So as we speak now, there is no registration ongoing in the Boko municipality.
Then what happens? Because the people ought to also exercise their civic responsibility. What then happens to them?
Yeah, the commission recognizes the fundamental nature of the right to register and certainly vote as a voter. But we also recognize that the right to life is also very, very important. Our officers in Boko, these are people from several parts of our country who have been posted there to do their work. And once we got the indication that their life will be in danger if they should go ahead with the registration exercise, the commission decided to put the registration on hold. So as I indicated earlier, if we get the permission, the green light from the two parties that they've come to an agreement and that there is consensus that the registration should go on, the commission is fully ready. But based on the information, the intelligence we have from our regional director and other personnel in the region, it is not appropriate for us to continue with the registration in the Boko municipality.
So no alternative arrangements will be made for the people of Boko?
Currently, there is no alternative arrangement being made. The commission is not considering any alternative arrangements.
Well, yesterday also at the press conference, you raised issues about the two main political parties, at least the political parties taking advantage of the guarantor system and busing minors amongst others. We've heard from the two main political parties all dismissing this particular allegation because you did not put out any evidence to support it.
Oh, Emefa, you were not there yesterday, but you've seen the footage, some of the pictures and the footages we showed yesterday. Clearly, we provided evidence, and these are things in the days to come the commission will certainly address. And we all live in this country, so I don't think this is something the parties have been doing. It may not be something which has been legislated by the parties, but clearly we know this is one of the major challenges in our democracy.
So overall, you say that the Electoral Commission is satisfied with the exercise that you've done so far?
Yeah, so far, yesterday we gave out a figure of 673,000, and as we speak now, I think the number has crossed 700,000. So we are very happy with the process, how people have participated, and we are only hoping that all these people will take part in the district assembly election. We are very much hoping that they will take part.
Thank you for your company this afternoon. That's Dr. Bosman Asari. I'll take you to my home region, Volta region, where Ivy Setoji has an update on the process. Ivy, what can you report?
For now, the process has been smooth, except the occasional issues with the machines and all that, but the process has been smooth. Some of the concerns some of the residents are raising is about people in the hinterlands who are not able to register. So they want the authorities to do something about it. And we see a lot of party people from the two political parties especially taking advantage of the issue to come to take people's numbers and then probably do some kind of campaign on silent. But after everything is smooth.
That's my colleague Ivy Setoji reporting from the Volta region. We'll stay a while longer on electoral-related matters, and the Commission says the appointment of perceived politically biased persons to the Commission has not affected its independence in any way. We know President Akufo-Addo appointed Dr. Peter Piahene and Salima Tijani as members of the Commission. However, there have been calls for these two to resign because of their affiliation to the governing NPP. We can hear from the Director of Programs and Advocacy at CDD, Dr. Kojo Santi, reiterating the demand of civil society and some political parties.
The appeal for them to resign, yes, I think that appeal remains, because I mean, how how do you resolve this matter? If we keep quiet and we say, oh, okay, yes, you can appoint somebody who is obviously, an active partisan person onto the Electoral Commission. The person who, even if you are not an active party person or you're not a party person, because that person is there, they taint the Electoral Commission. If we allow that to fester, we shouldn't allow it to open and make it a precedent.
Well, responding to the questions about these demands, Deputy EC Chairperson Dr. Bosman Asare argued that the appointments have not in any way compromised the EC's independence. He, however, asked that such calls must be directed at the presidency who made the appointments.
CSOs calling on the EC, this is some appointment of commission members. Please, the Electoral Commission, those who are working as directors, officers, they were appointed by the commission under the leadership of the chair. Commission members are not appointed by us. The chair didn't appoint them. So please, if you have any concern about the appointment, I think that where the people who appointed them will be the best person. But for we Electoral Commission, we are doing our work, and so far we don't think that anybody's presence has undermined the quality, the integrity and the transparency of our processes, and we are working well and everything is going very well for us.
That's Dr. Bosman Asare once again. This is the Midday News live on Joy 99.7 FM. Let me take you to Tema now, where managers of the oil refinery there says no damage has been recorded yet after fire gutted a pipeline at the facility earlier today. The pipeline, we're told, discharges all liquefied petroleum gas, that's LPG, which comes into the port. A visit by Joy News to the site saw firefighters trying to bring the situation under control. My colleague Carlos Caloni is on the grounds for us and joins us live. So, Carlos, what's the situation now as we speak?
All right, Emefa. So there were about 5 fire tenders when we arrived, and a number of firefighters, as well as officials from the Quantum Oil Company, Tema Oil Refinery, and the Tema Municipal Assembly. Indeed, when we arrived, the fire had already been doused, and officials here say they discovered that the pipeline connected to the booster station actually suffered damage and was leaking gas, which led to the fire. But that's under investigation now. But as we speak now, the situation has been brought under control.
Well, you've also been speaking to the head of public affairs there, Matilda Tor. What more did she say?
Indeed, according to the PRO
of Tor. For now, it wouldn't, because we had almost completed the discharge from the vessel. So the only thing we did was to isolate the line so that the pressure buildup does not continue or increases. So the situation is under control. And this is not going to impact on what is supposed to go to the market. The product will go out as usual.
That's the head of public affairs at the Tema Oil Refinery, Matilda Frimpade. I'll take you to the western region now, where 5 persons have been confirmed dead in a mine collapse at the Akon community, a mining scheme of the Takwa Community Mining Program. Bodies of the deceased have been removed and deposited at the Takwa morgue. Well, this incident eluded mainstream media. It happened last week or so, and the the details of the accident has been a bit scanty. But my colleague, Joy News correspondent Samuel Kojo Brace has been there. He's been following up on it and has more.
The Akon Community Mining is a major part of the Takwa Community Mining Program commissioned by the President in 2021. Data available indicates that 4,887 persons worked directly in the mine. On September 13, there was a major accident. Dan, not his real name, is a miner at the Abasi side of the Akon Community Mining where the accident happened.
We got to work but felt the atmosphere had changed. No one could say anything, so we hanged around for a while. It was then that one of our people came to hint us of the extent of accident that has happened underground. And right in front of us, they brought 4 boys who had died, and we thought that would be all. But unfortunately, we heard more people were involved.
He alleges that those who died in the accident are more than have been declared.
What collapsed is serious. Someone had sent a gang of 15 who were going to bring their load to the surface. But those people cannot be accounted for after the incident. So none of the people who had gone there to bring their loads and their items survived, meaning there could be more people underground.
That's the situation in the Akon community. Time for a quick breather. We've also been talking about a call for extension of the limited voter registration exercise for some applicants. We've been hearing from the EC, which says that's not an option on the table. We're live here on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra, on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi. The Midday News is sponsored by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Also brought to you by Duraplast Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDPE pipes and water tank. Where Duraplast goes, water flows. Will return with sport. And then also proposed criminal offences amendment bill seeks 12 to 25-year jail term for private individuals offering bribes, yet faces delay in Attorney General's office 3 years after its formulation.
I respect Godfrey Yeboah Dame for bringing this up, but for about 3 years now, 2021, up to now, total silence on what is happening with the bill.
Do we know why?
I don't know.
We'll get to hear the Commissioner on Human Rights and Administrative Justice verdict also on President Akufo-Addo's fight against corruption. And in our Clean Ghana campaign ahead of 30th September World Cleanup Day, the Water and Sanitation Ministry is leading the cleaning of the country.
Change the way you dump in gutters. Change the way you defecate along our beaches. Charlie, let's make Ghana clean.
When budgets are tight and money difficult to come by, you want to be sure you get the best value for your money. These are not times to be spending money fixing expensive engine problems because of cheap fuel and lubricants. Drive to a Petrosol station today and buy your quality fuel and lubricants, and rest assured of fuel that lasts long and lubricants that prevent expensive engine problems. Hear the sound. Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity.
Imagine say water wake up at dawn, e no bath, e no chop, where e vanish for your area for 2 weeks. You no get one drop safe inside your tank.
Hey.
Hajia, our life was in dangerous. Only our neighbor get water with water tank.
Water tank?
Yes, water tank. Mamma mia, that water tank get meter for checking water level. That water tank be fine past Kumasi Selenium. That water tank be tough like Ghana Army. That water tank, they carry water pepe, so say some no go left inside the supply tank. What a tank! As my boss, Mr. Poncho, go talk.
Beautiful, durable, with water level indicator and accurate volume of water. Water tank. What a tank! By Duraplast.
Thanks for staying with us here on the Midday News. Time for sports. Mubarak, what do we have?
Yep, Emefa. Now, former Ghana FA presidential aspirant Neil Armstrong Mortadbe has advised George Afriyie to discontinue his quest to contest for the presidency in the upcoming elections. Now, George, who has been disqualified by the Elections Committee from vying for the position following his failure to provide the required number of signatures to support his candidacy, has gone to the Court of Arbitration for Sports to seek redress. The former vice president of the FA feels aggrieved and wants CAS to overturn the ruling and reinstate him in contention for the seat. Now, Neil, who also found himself in a similar situation over a decade ago, wants George to back down as his chances of winning are slim.
To go.
You know why?
You'd have told him that?
Yeah, I would have told him that. And I would have told him
to back down and let Kurt go?
Yes, I would. Because that, when I stood, the people were quietly goading me on, but deeply, as they knew that they weren't going to support me.
You see that as what is happening with George?
No, now, look at the number of endorsements that we have seen. Are we to disbelieve the lives of Dr. Nyao Tamaklo? Are we to disbelieve the lives of Amaka Amatefio, Moses Amapaka? And some of these persons, in the last election, 2019, everybody in our football space knows where some of them stood in terms of who they were backing. Yet, these persons have come forward and said, we are not saying that our football is perfect. By no means. There's so much more work to do. But given the signals that we've seen of these 4 years of Mr. Kurt Edwin Simeon Okraku, we think he's laying a good foundation.
Well, there will be more on Game Plan at 1:15 p.m.
We can't wait for that, can we? Now, private individuals found guilty of offering bribes to compromise public officials could be jailed between 12 and 25 years without the option of a fine. Well, that's the new addition to the Criminal Offences Amendment Bill currently sitting at the Office of the Attorney General. The move, according to proponents of the bill, is to deal with private sector corruption, but 3 years after its formulation, the bill has yet to be laid in Parliament. Commissioner of Strat, Joseph Whittal, is unhappy government is for dragging on this document.
Means that when you are in the private sector, as a private sector entity, either as a worker, a contractor, or an official who works in the private sector, in the economy, in commerce, in administration, you should be able to be held accountable in respect of what you do in the private sector. And don't forget, the intended punishments are very punitive.
Oh, they are harsher than previous ones?
They are really, really harsher because there is no option of a fine. You have 12 years minimum imprisonment if you are convicted of that offense. And
is it only for public officers?
25 for public officers. So we don't have that. This is a novelty. So that the private sector will know that, look, if you joke with trying to bribe people, give money to influence contracts of government officials and others, this is what will await you. That's why I am pushing for.
Even if you're not a government official?
If you are not, if you are in the private sector, you are a contractor.
You're basically saying that
yes,
you can go to jail for 12 to 25 years?
Yes. If minimum without an option of a fine.
Well, we'll get to hear Joseph Whittal on the anti-corruption fight under President Akufo-Addo, but we've been checking on this particular bill and why it's not been laid in Parliament. Elton Brube joins me in studio. Elton, what have we been able to pick up from the Attorney General's office?
So what we know, Emefa, is that the Attorney General office has two very important bills that they've put before Cabinet: the amendment to the Criminal Offences Bill and, of course, the conduct of public officers. Okay. According to the Attorney General, they've put these matters before Cabinet, and the expectation is that when Parliament resume in October, they're going to take it to the Parliament for Parliament to consider it. So it is ready for parliamentary consideration.
Okay, thank you very much, Elton, for that update. We can hear from Joseph Whittal on his verdict on the anti-corruption fight under President Akufo-Addo.
From my perspective, when it's about the institutions, the anti-corruption institutions, he's giving us money. Mm-hmm. He's doing it consistently. And I think that is also the way of fighting corruption. But he can do more.
That's Joseph Whittal there. Now, after missing their numerous business trips and holidays in South Africa due to the refusal of the South African High Commission to grant them visas, some Ghanaians have expressed their frustration and anger over what they describe as unfair treatment. We can hear from Dr. Dana Sariche, CEO of Esoko Ghana, is one of the victims, and he shares his experience with Joy News.
So I applied for the visa back in July 5th to precise. And I didn't hear anything from them. When I wasn't hearing from them, I actually wrote several emails. Some of those emails took like 3 or 4 days before anybody responded. Once the response came, the information was that they are still working on it. And this was somewhere back in July. So I've been trying to, most of the trips I had to go, I had to cancel all those trips. In August and September, I had to cancel those trips. But that was all the way back in July. I could not have gone. I couldn't go. And beyond, I couldn't do any other trips after that because I was turning to go to the States in August and then somewhere in Europe in September. All those trips I couldn't go because of.
Well, the South African High Commission, in a statement on Thursday, has announced that passports that have been there more than 3 months at the Commission could be collected at the VFS and global offices. Quick question, there's more in that statement.
Yes, they say that the High Commission of the Republic of South Africa has added Ghanaian nationals to the list of countries that cannot apply for visa online to South Africa without visiting the High Commission. It should be noted that the normal requirements such as passport details, that of invitation, among others, will be verified on arrival at the point of entry, and also that the VFS Global Office will call the applicants whose passports have been at the High Commission for longer period. Okay, thank you very much, Kweku. And tomorrow, September 30, will be observed as World Cleanup Day. And here in Ghana, the Water and Sanitation Ministry is leading the cleaning of the entire country. Sector Minister Frida Prempe says the assemblies will lead the project and announce a new strategy. Listen.
Across the length and breadth of Ghana, traditional and social media sensitization campaigns, intensive premises inspection by staff of the district assemblies, among others. My colleague, Honorable Henry Korte, instituted the Operation Clean Up Your Frontage. We embraced it with joy, but it fizzled out. We are not able to sustain some of these projects, but we need to clean up our frontages, we need to clean our environment, we need to keep Ghana clean, and we need to stay healthy. Change your attitude. Change the way you litter indiscriminately. Change the way you dump in gutters. Change the way you defecate along our beaches. Let's make Ghana clean. Environmental sanitation is a shared responsibility. So play your part. Charlie, let's make Ghana clean.
Charlie, let's go. And that's how we end the midday news here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Kufuor advises NPP against factionalism. Also, NPP NDC rejects EC claims that political parties are busing minors for voter registration. That and more on myjoyonline.com. More user-friendly than ever. And there's also, we have Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otabil. Up next, I am Emefa. Apawu. Enjoy your weekend. Have a good afternoon.